2019 to 2020, sophomore year. What a weird one. What is going on, boys? And in today's video, we finally do my sophomore year recapped. Alright, so got the sophomore year recap today. It's going to be an emotional one. It's going to be a long one. So if you want to listen to me talk about my sophomore year and just everything that happened, then I would go grab some popcorn or something, because like I said, it's probably going to be around 20 minutes. Maybe a little bit less. I'm hoping to keep it around 15, 20 minutes. Anyways, though, before I start getting into this this long, weird, very weird, crazy year, and starting to recap and tell you guys everything that happened, let me first shout out my merch. Got the Hoscap merch right here. It's very sexy. I know for a fact, not really, but I've heard that if you wear it around any females, like even ugly, hot, whatever, bro, any kind of female will just fall for you instantly, man. And I mean, obviously, if you don't like them, then you have the option to say no. But I mean, just saying, like, maybe even some models, bro, they just come right after you if you're wearing the Smart Bar merch, man. So anyways, link in the description for that. And also, you can go to find my my sponsors down there. You can use my code SmartBar for 10% off on galvanized grips and into the AM. They got some really cool products over there, their companies. So if you want to do that, helps out the channel, go ahead and support me then. Use code SmartBar on their products. Not even capping though, their products are kind of nice. Anyways, let's get into this, alright? So, obviously, I did this video last year as a freshman, recapping my freshman year. But last year, I was completely sick, and my voice was horrible, everything was horrible. This year, that is not the case. I'm feeling fine. So, as you know in these videos, then they're pretty personal, first of all. So, and second of all, we recap the school year, and only the school year, okay? We're not recapping stuff that happened outside of school, like that kind of thing, you know? We're recapping the school year, and I will do a podcast at the end of the year that's recapping all of 2020, that sort of thing, which, like I did in 2019, recapping 2019. Okay, so, without further ado, let's start at the beginning of the school year. So, obviously, I had football, because I'm a football player, and you know that. Real quick, should have mentioned this before. We are so close to 300 subscribers, so if we can get to 300, that would be insane. You know, 300, be doing another G Fuel giveaway. Boom, there's an example. There's Hype Sauce. Boom. So we'll be doing G Fuel giveaway and a whole bunch of other stuff at 300 subs. So if you want to subscribe, if you're not already, go subscribe. And if you are subscribed already, find a different account, subscribe. I don't really care. Just subscribe. Give me the 300, man. Thanks for all the support. No cap. Anyways, so obviously I had football all the way until November. And I can make a whole different video about football. So I'm going to try some football in a very short time span, okay? So I play defensive end and offensive line. Very undersized, but I'm big, so it doesn't matter. Not really. I'm not that big. But I say I am. Gotta have that self-confidence. You already know. Anyways, so I mainly played defensive end for a JV this year as a sophomore. I was not on varsity. I did get a little bit of playing time on varsity, but mainly just JV. And when I did play in JV, it was mainly defensive end. And I kind of popped off, man. Best season so far. I have a highlight video. It's very bad, but I should have put a lot more time into it. But if you want to go check out my highlights, there's one on my channel. And best season ever, dude. I love the people I played with. I feel like I formed such a good group with my teammates, and I felt like I put in so much work and effort in the season and in this off season before it got cut short because of COVID. I feel like I put in as much work as I could, and I feel like I was working my ass off, and that's what you want, obviously. So I'm super stoked for junior year. Hopefully then it'll be varsity. I don't know, but after that, you got, well, during that time, school was probably the best it was at the entire year, I would say. And you think during that time I'd be more stressed because I'd have after school activities, that kind of stuff. But really, I wasn't. I felt like that was the best time of the school year. I was getting all my assignments done. I was keeping up on all my classes. Everything was going so well. It was just going good. And then I didn't really start enjoying any of my classes, though, until about the second semester, which would have been after Christmas break. And up until that point, I feel like up until December, we had formed the TISM squad, my group of friends, our huge group of friends. I feel like we had not only just been, I feel like at that point and continuing through the rest of the year, we had finally become not just a group of friends that played games together on the weekends and after school some nights, but just a good group of friends that actually hung out, not only played games, but we'd also go do stuff all the time. And the TISM squad, bro, everyone in that squad, they mean so much to me, if I'm being honest, bro. Like, so much. They've done so much for me. They've supported me with everything, and even when I'm feeling down and stuff, they're always there for me. So everyone in there, thank you guys so much, honestly. You guys are what's made, or is what made my sophomore year what it was, and made me have the most enjoyable time I had all year. So, nothing really too special happened until after Christmas break, which is then when I got my license. I got my license like the very first day of January or something like that. And so that was pretty cool. I could now drive to school, drive to lifting, drive, right? And at that point, my study hall had gotten kind of switched. Like, I was in the same study hall, but people in my study hall had got moved around. And so my study hall was first period in the morning, right? And so that kind of sucked because it's like you're waking up and I don't know. It's just so early in the morning, dude, you just hate it, right? And up until that point, I had always just done all my work. Just, we had assigned seats in my study hall, so you couldn't talk or anything. You weren't placed with any of your friends, nor did I really have any of my friends in my study hall up until second semester. Which then at the beginning of second semester, my friend Tyler, Gavin, and Tristan, they were all in that study hall, and we would go down to our, like, what do you call it, like computer room, media, like library, computer room type thing. And we would always just go in there, just us four, and we'd always sit down, do all of our work, and that was one of my most enjoyable classes of the year. Just those three guys, right? Tyler, Gavin, and Tristan. This is a different Gavin. This is not Gavin Truex. This is my friend Gavin McClurg. The three of us, I feel like we weren't really like a great group of friends, right? Like, we all had our different friend groups, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like the four of us, like that's what I don't know. I feel like we all just like came together, and it made for a really enjoyable time. And I'm sure as hell going to miss just like all the laughing we had in that class, and all the funny stuff that we did, and just the actual studying. They helped me get a whole bunch of work done, and it was really cool. That was a really cool group. And then second period, I had math, right? Honors Algebra 2. I'm going to say the worst class of my sophomore year. I want to put Spanish 3 here, but I can't. This class was the hardest difficulty-wise. It was way harder than Spanish 3, difficulty-wise. The teacher, I wasn't a huge fan of, and a lot of you are going to disagree with that if you had the same class as me. But I did not enjoy the class at all, because once again, it was coming right off the study hall, and early in the morning, dude, and you just, I don't know, I feel like I'm more of a morning person myself, but it was just, those classes in the morning is what made it bad, if you understand that, you know? Anyways, the only reason I got through that class was because my friend Kyle was sitting next to me all year, and he's the only reason I got through that class. He's my only friend in that class, mainly the only one that I actually really talk to on a daily basis. He's the only reason I got through that class, bro. He helped me out so much, just making me laugh and making me enjoy, like, get through those 55 minutes of class. So, huge shout out to him. That class, bro, horrible. And my grades showed that, you know, not good. Third period, chemistry. I'm not even going to talk about chemistry. I was pretty good at it. I got A's all year, and I had no friends there. I was the only sophomore in there. Everyone else was a junior or senior, so not even going to talk about that. Fourth period was history, and history was a weird one because I was in the smart history, right? The smart history as a freshman, and then I decided to drop out and go to the easier history as a sophomore to help better my schedule because I knew it'd be a hard year, right? And the teachers were good, but they treated you not your age. They treated you like you were a 8-year-old or a 10-year-old, not a 16-year-old, right? Not like a high school student. And so it made the class very, very easy, but it was also very annoying dealing with that, you know. But I had my buddy Jason in there. You all know Jason. Jason got me through that class once again, bro. Every single day he made me laugh by saying or doing something, dude. Jason can make anyone laugh, dude. I'm not even kidding. The stuff he does, man, Jason has helped me out so much in life, dude, and I'm very thankful for him. And without him in that class, would have been a total bummer. But I feel like I would have gotten through that class. Anyways, at that point, I had so many not great people in my history class and in any of my other morning classes, right? And so something had always usually pissed me off by the time I went to lunch, which was after history. And so I'd go to lunch, and at lunch I had my friends Caden, Jesse, Silas, and Caden Blau. And that lunch, it wasn't the most entertaining lunch because we didn't really, do too much. But besides just eat and talk, but those guys were always there to listen to my rants from the morning. They were always there to listen to me, always there to help me out, always there to say something, always there to make me laugh. And bingo Fridays, we always, as a school type thing, you always played bingo on a Friday. Those were pretty fun. And Agua Marine, I win. You don't get that joke. I know you won't, but those four will get it. Lunch was pretty average this year, I'm not going to lie. But I really appreciate those guys that were in my lunch and made it what it was and were just always there for me. I have so many memories from lunch and everything. It was nice. Moving on, after lunch, I would have Spanish. Now, this was the longest class of the day. This is a whole hour-long class. Spanish 3, right? But the nice thing was that Jesse, me, Caden, and Caden Blau, all four of us, we all went from lunch to Spanish in the same class. And what was even nicer was we all four sat next to each other at the same table until she decided to split us apart because she thought we were talking so much. This teacher, dude, I can make a whole different video on the teacher herself. I can't even with the teacher or that class. She made it so horrible. And around this time, right, I said this was around December, January, right? January-ish, right? Math and Spanish were giving me such a hard time. I had gotten the most stress I had ever gotten in life up until this point, and it did not make for a fun time, obviously. You know, it wasn't great. And I just remember not wanting to do anything. It was like you just didn't want to do anything. You didn't have any motivation to do anything. It was after school, bro. You just sat down. You looked at your grades. Your grades were just getting even worse and worse. You were trying to bring them up. You were trying to do everything you could, and nothing was working. Like, you just kept failing, even though you knew you were studying. You knew you were putting in the work, and it just wasn't working out. And so that's what sucked about it. Anyways, like I said earlier, though, all my friends, they helped me get over that, and my family. It wasn't anything too big, but, you know, right as of now, I feel like I'm the best I've ever been, ever. But anyways, Spanish was such a horrible class, dude. So bad. And even though it was such a bad class, and even though it is the worst teacher I've ever had, that class, with people in that class, with people I sat next to, Caden Blau, Jesse, they made that class enjoy. If it was not for them, I was not getting through that class at all, dude. There was no way I was making it the full year. And even though it was such a bad class, I kind of miss it. Because we just had so many memories in that class. So much stuff, dude. So many memories. And so that's what, like, I'm always going to remember that class for being bad and as well so funny and so great. Then 6th period I had art. Now art was a semester class, so I took 2 different art classes. The first semester art class was so much better than the second. It was 3D art, and I had a couple of upperclassmen in there that were really funny, did some funny stuff, whatever. So I appreciate them for that. If you're watching, you know who you are. And then second semester I had 2D art, and it wasn't as great. I basically, put in the earbuds, do your work. That was about it, and it kind of sucked. But then 7th period I had English, right? This is final period of the day, and I had my friends Avery and Jesse in there, right? And I sat next to Avery all year. Jesse I did for a little bit, but yeah, I don't know, he gone. Got moved or something like that. Excuse me. Anyways, I also had a couple other people in there. Like, just that class, the amount of, I don't even know what to call it, but like, the certain people that were in that class made it so enjoyable. And I don't think made it just so enjoyable for me, but for everyone. Like, they could always make everyone laugh. Even though they were annoying the hell out of the teacher, they could always make everyone laugh, right? And so that's what made it enjoyable for not just me, but I feel like the rest of the class. So Mike, you know who you are. Yep. You were that guy. I appreciate you for that. But anyways, Avery really made a difference in that class. This was the dumbest English I think I've taken. Not the hardest, but the dumbest. Dude, the amount of work we had in that class might have been more work than any other class I've ever taken. And so it was very annoying. But Avery being in that class, we'd always work on group projects together. He really helped me a lot, and yeah, he was great. So there's all my classes summed up. And like I said, bro, I want to, obviously though, school got cut short in March because of coronavirus. So since March, we've been doing online school, and I'm still doing online school. We have like 2 weeks left, I think, which is pretty nice. And then I'll be a junior. But I want to keep looking back on this year and saying that it was the worst year I've ever had, as not only school-wise, but just in general, right? Just as a whole. But when you look deeper into it and you remember all the stuff you did, or you go back and you find videos of stuff you did, whatever, you start to, or I start to realize that like, dang, dude, I actually had some really great times this year with some really great people, and those people just they made my sophomore year so much better, dude. Um, and then this year, like I said, with the Tism squad, I feel like all of us came together. We were always hanging out so much more. We could turn a night of doing absolutely nothing, but just chilling at someone's house, into one of the best nights of my life. I remember doing that a couple times with Ethan, Avery, Jason, Caden, and myself. The five of us, we hung out so many different times up until the point of Corona, and we were doing it. We were doing it at a point where it was almost like every other weekend, dude. It was insane. Um, and I know there's a lot of you out there that hang out with your friends every single day or whatever, but just that group of five, we'd always go and do stuff. And then obviously Caden, Jason, and the three of us always hang out a lot, and I feel like they've become sort of like my closer friends. Out of everyone in the squad, obviously. But then we'd also have big meetups at Bob Evans for breakfast one day. We'd have one at Buffalo Wild Wings. We'd always just go places, dude. And those big meetups, I don't know what to call them. I think we call them Tism times or something like that, something stupid. Those big meetups at just Bob Evans, Buffalo Wild Wings, wherever we were eating, we'd have 10 to 12 people there, dude. And it was just like everyone in the squad. I feel like that we all needed that, because there would be tense moments where like this guy would be fighting this guy, and then this guy would be fighting that guy, whatever. But we'd all, at those moments, we'd all like come together, and it made for a really good time, a really memorable time. And so I feel like this year, the biggest